In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul says something most people never notice. He speaks of a natural body and a spiritual body, but then he lands on a line that changes everything. This mortal must put on immortality, not become immortal, not turn into something immortal, but put it on like clothing. Paul isn't describing the ascension of an individual. He's describing the descension of a heavenly garment, a spiritual body, Christ himself, coming down to clothe the mortal and swallow up what is corruptible. And just a few verses earlier, he gives a command that sounds almost like a resurrection itself. Awake to righteousness. The word he uses, awake, is the same word early Christians used for rising from the dead. Paul is saying, wake up to this revelation, because some, he says, have not the knowledge of God. They haven't awakened to what resurrection really is. The Corinthians were still imagining literal bodies, physical resurrections, flesh and bone climbing out of graves. Paul tells them, wake up. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. What he's talking about is a revelation, a revealing of the heavenly life that comes down and clothes the believer. Christ, the first fruits, is the first revelation of this spiritual body, and the rest, Paul says, come at his parousia, his unveiling, his appearing, not us going up, but Christ coming down. And if you listen closely, Revelation speaks the same language, only in symbols. The saints are given white robes, robes that John tells us are the righteousness of the saints. Not new anatomy, not new physics, but a garment, a spiritual life, given from above and worn by those who overcome. Paul calls it putting on immortality. John calls it putting on a white robe. Both are describing the same transformation. Immortal, being clothed by the descending life of Christ. A revelation, not a resuscitation. A garment of righteousness, not a return to flesh. This is the mystery Paul says we must awake to. Immortality isn't something we become, it's something we wear.